sanksinya dalam bahasa kita seperti ini. Daripada fungsi ini kita tidak kenal setiap hari harus karena yang harus dilakukan kan melis aturan-aturannya yang kira-kira bakalan suitable sesuai dengan isu yang mau diselesaikan. Jadi ada usaha sumber daya yang muncul, tapi ini belum ada dilanjutkan karena ada sumber dayanya kan. Ini kan ya itu gara-gara bencana dari bencana itu air itu tapi harusnya ada pasti ada nggak ada peraturan yang dari sumber daya itu belum ada peraturan jadi apa peraturan yang Bapak dan Ibu, mohon drama ini adalah anggap ini berada di kaca, sehingga kelihatan para mahasiswa bekerja. Bapak dan Ibu, kalau memang mau tanya, saya biar kita data. Siapa? Yang kedua tadi tentang yang resource. Kan yang jadi kayak itu datang mendiam di tempat itu. Boleh. Pasti lah baik yang From the picture, so I say that while they are discussing here, we can present and then discuss.
Ulangi tadi Mas.
So, where are more questions from the lecturers?
Tadi dari dalam permasalahan tersebut sebenarnya ada tiga masalah pokok penting. Pertama adalah pengakuan secara internasional dari negara luar untuk pendirian negara baru ini. Kemudian perlindungan bagi masyarakat adat lokal yang ada di situ. Kemudian terakhir itu adalah kita harus mengantisipasi namanya itu konflik sara. Since itu ada terdapat masyarakat lokal dan juga masyarakat lainnya yang kemungkinan bakal menjadi warga negara tersebut. Nah, tiga hal ini boleh dikonklusikan bahwasannya ada tiga hal yang sebenarnya harus diatur dalam perundang-undangan tersebut. Pertama adalah terkait tentang konstitusional mereka sendiri, konstitusional dasar mereka sendiri. Kemudian kedua itu adalah yang namanya adalah pengakuan secara de facto dari internasional, dan yang terakhir itu adalah mengantisipasi dari konflik sara. Oleh karena itu, ini kan sebenarnya kita bekerja sebagai konsultan ya, yang di kalau misalnya case-nya terakhir di situ kita suruh beri saran untuk permasalahan tersebut. Oleh karena itu mungkin saran dari akunya dari tiga hal tersebut adalah yang pertama, penentuan pemerintah mereka sendiri bagaimana. Karena nggak mungkin kan kalau misalnya kita mau keluar negeri dari pengakuan secara internasional, tapi pemerintah dalamnya juga nggak ada gitu. Kemudian kedua adalah yang namanya untuk konflik syarat sendiri, sistem pertahanan mereka, yaitu sistem militer mereka seharusnya udah punya harus dibuat di situ. Walaupun secara kecil-kecilan nggak perlu kayak metode, nggak perlu kayak misalnya kubunya itu seperti bentuknya militer, tapi setidaknya adalah stabilitas ketahanan yang bisa dilaksanakan dari suatu lembaga yang mereka bangun nantinya. Dan terakhir itu adalah terkait tentang keadilan bagi natives. Di sini kita butuh namanya adalah lembaga masyarakat kecil-kecilan, bahasa kecil-kecilan karena ini negara baru ya, baru berdiri. Dan oleh karena itu ada 3 elemen yang harus kita penting. Pertama lembaga masyarakat adat, kemudian kedua itu adalah pemerintahan secara konstitusional nasional maksudnya, dan terakhir adalah sistem pertahanan. 3 penting ini adalah yang baru kita buat atau solusi dari isu yang tadi yang kita sampaikan. Mungkin teman-teman kalau misalnya ada yang mau sampaikan isu sebagai macamnya, just let us know.
Izin. Jadi kalau dari aku sendiri yang ku analisis masalahnya ini, yang pertama itu kan seperti yang aku bilang tadi adalah masalah adanya pulau baru yang terbentuk gitu kan. Nah, kalau di sini bisa kita lihat di poin pertama, sebenarnya sekarang itu udah ada 53.000 permanent residentnya. Nah, terus 2.000-nya adalah native. Nah, terus kemudian yang jadi masalah adalah ketika udah mencapai 53.000 permanent resident ini, ada problem ketika ada persaingan antar setiap settlement. Nah, setiap settlement itu mereka berkompetisi untuk mengambil tempat-tempat fishing ground, terus air bersih dan juga beberapa sumber daya lainnya. Nah, terus juga itu adalah salah satu akar konflik. Akar konflik kedua itu kayak dibilang Jinbe tadi, masalah SARA. Nah, itu juga, tapi Newland ini juga udah sesuai dengan resolusi dari PBB ya, nggak bisa dijadikan teritorinya negara lain gitu, negara yang udah ada, misalnya kayak Indonesia nggak boleh mengklaim itu. Nah, terus yang jadi masalah adalah saat ini Newland ini dia dipimpin oleh kayak settlement leaders. Nah, di settlement leaders itu di self elected ada yang self appointed juga. Nah, dari situlah kita sebenarnya jadi poin permasalahan juga. Ketika kita mau membentuk Council of Newland ini atau CON, kita harus bisa membuat semua settlement leaders yang ada di Newland itu sepakat untuk membuat satu negara dan nggak ada konflik. Karena ketika udah namanya membuat satu negara, berarti ada kepentingan-kepentingan juga para pemimpin di setiap settlement ini. Itu mungkin itu poin permasalahan yang harus kita selesaikan juga sebelum membuat sebuah negara. Gitu.
Mungkin sedikit tambahin. Mungkin karena kita bentuknya ini sebenarnya bentuk konstitusi gitu. Jadi tadi elaborasi sebenarnya dari kasus ini sebenarnya kan masalah sumber daya alam pertama. Kedua masalah bagaimana interaksi masyarakat itu, karena terbentuknya negara itu kan sebenarnya 3 unsur aja, rakyat, kemudian wilayahnya, kemudian ada pengakuan dari negara luar dengan itu secara de facto dan secara de jure. Jadi sebenarnya secara spesifik misalnya tadi Jimmy membahas tentang bagaimana natives dan masyarakat adat itu disebut untuk dibentuk lembaga. Sebenarnya tidak bisa secara spesifik karena di sini kita bahasnya sebenarnya ke main institutions dulu, pembagian kekuasaan antara gimana sebenarnya kekuasaan eksekutifnya dulu, kemudian kekuasaan legislatifnya. Jadi dari secara itu mereka perwakilan dari masyarakat itu bisa terbentuk ke parlemen itu. Kemudian tadi masalahnya dia di lembaga yudikatif, disitulah kita akhirnya karena kita konteksnya ke constitution, kita nanti akhirnya kalau masalahkan ke lembaga masyarakat, kita turunkan dengan undang-undang setelahnya. Jadi yang diutamakan di situ itu bentuk negara mana yang kita sepakati, kemudian siapa yang menjadi kepala pemerintahan dan kepala negara di situ, lembaga apa yang menjadi fokus 3 lembaga kekuasaan tadi, kemudian di mana relasi antara institusi itu dapat berjalan dengan separasi power itu, separation of power tadi. Jadi karena di konstitusi tidak membahas secara spesifik tentang bagaimana prosedur itu secara spesifik, kita bahas secara definisi, kemudian attribution dan regulation secara umum aja. Kemudian kalau menurut Rabi sih fokusnya ke situ. Mungkin ada teman-teman lagi yang lain.
Kalau dari saya sebenarnya pendapat saya tuh hampir sama tapi berbeda karena pada dasarnya ini kan yang kita bahas ini itu tentang yang akan kita pecahkan kan. Menurut saya ini kalau bisa kita lihat ini di poin nomor 1 itu nativesnya itu pakai quotation. Iya kan? Saya paham kenapa itu pakai tanda kutip karena kita tidak bisa menyebutkan seseorang itu native without nation. Karena untuk terbentuknya sebuah nation, kalau saya tidak salah itu di Montevideo Convention artikel nomor 1 itu terdapat 4 syarat untuk membuat sebuah negara, yaitu a defined territory, permanent population, governance, and the capacity to be known by others. Nah, di sini itu permasalahannya kita sudah mempunyai permanent residence, which means we all already qualified for one only. And we have 3 others. Terus yang native tadi itu kita bisa buat nation itu pertama itu karena yang pertama di New Land ini tidak ada sistem. Yang pertama tidak ada sistem atau tidak ada governance. Jadi tidak ada sovereignty di New Land ini. Makanya itu menjadi konflik. Terus yang kedua itu seperti yang saya bilang sebelumnya, itu kan tentang sovereignty. Karena tidak ada yang sovereignty ini juga akan menjadi masalah yang besar. Jadi yang pertama menurut saya yang bisa kita lakukan dari hal ini itu adalah pembuatan governance terlebih dahulu. Thank you.
No, but go ahead because you still wanted to say something and you want to react. Do. And then I say something in between. Okay. You wanted to react to that?
Mau nanya ke Justin. Jadi tadi maksudnya yang pertama itu native problem kan itu di quotation ya. Maksudnya ini adalah masalah menentukan siapa yang native di sini ya. Karena di New Land ini kan pulau baru gitu.
Iya.
Native itu kayak mana kriterianya? Itu maksudnya.
Iya.
Oke, dari yang rata-rata itu semua sudah disampaikan juga ya. Tapi mungkin dari saya pribadi, ini terkait dengan penentuan pemerintahan itu sendiri sama diversity yang ada di New Land ini. Yang perlu kita perhatikan itu adalah background dan kultural dari orang-orang yang ada di New Land ini berbeda gitu. Kultural ini kan nggak hanya berkaitan dengan konflik SARA itu sendiri, tapi bahkan mereka yang punya background berbeda dari negara-negara yang berbeda dengan bahasa-bahasa yang berbeda pasti itu punya pengalaman, maksudnya pengalaman hukum yang berbeda-beda di negara-negara mereka gitu. Jadi mereka pasti merasakan mereka memiliki sistem pemerintahan hukum yang berbeda-beda sebelumnya gitu loh. Nah, jadi sampai mereka sudah sampai di New Land ini dan bersatu dengan yang lain yang menciptakan diversity itu tadi, kita juga harus memperhatikan kan dalam pemilihan bentuk pemerintahan itu bagaimana gitu loh. Karena kan pasti dari yang sudah kita tahu juga bentuk pemerintahan itu berbagai macam dan berbagai orang itu memiliki background dan pengalaman berbeda dalam bernegara itu sendiri. Jadi kita juga harus memperhatikan dengan perbedaan kultural, religion, sama bahasa itu menentukannya itu gimana, dan bahasa ini mungkin juga akan jadi pertimbangan gitu ya. Di sini juga dijelaskan misalnya different language gitu. Jadi bahasanya bagaimana gitu lah untuk kedepannya ada dalam menentukan bentuk pemerintahan itu sendiri kan itu penting gitu ya dalam menyatukan pendapat. Mungkin menurut saya seperti itu.
Thank you very much. So discussion it was also very fast. But I think many of the problems of the story provides were brought up. So, and I think I also understood that the contributions already went a little bit beyond that. So just not just identifying the problem, but also of this. This is the second step, but it's good that you're already thinking about it. But the inventory series. So just throw up the problems like you just did, and earlier talked about some other problems. Just presented or thrown up by the story of the problem. You meant problem of diversity. And so on. But can we make a list now? Did you appoint somebody as a discussion leader? Otherwise, we just brainstorm together as much as so much. So which issues did you identify? What does the Constitution have to solve? What are the problems of this place? Okay, so let's make a summary and say diversity. Yeah? Diversity of the population. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. What else? Resources. What about the resources? What's problematic about them? Okay. And is that the only problem with the resources in the story? So they are equally distributed, huh? It's not that the whole place is full of resources, they are located in specific areas. Okay. So we have the problem of scarcity, and we have the problem of unequal distribution. What else?
Berapa?
Natural. So the characteristics of the place, like what?
Because Disneyland was surrounded by the Arctic volcano, so I guess that will be the natural.
Natural strength. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So generally, that's governance, okay. What about foreign countries? Did you think about that? So this place, because the story says this place doesn't belong to any countries. There's even a UN treaty that says that the other countries wouldn't invade. However, that was before all the riches of the place was discovered, all the resources. So there might be a threat, an external threat as well. Did you think about that? Yes, exactly. So let's add it to the list. Sort of external threats. I think this is enough of a list. And now I would like to turn to the second part of the task, the main part of the task, right? So to discuss the task and make an inventory of the main challenges, this is what you already did. And I think you did it very well. You even explained a lot of your ideas about it. What I would like to do now, and for that, I think we should split up the group into subgroups. Because it's interesting to see at the end how different the solutions are that students come up with. And we can also mutually criticize them and maybe come with it. So I would like to make 3 subgroups. I think we have 14 people in the group, so we can make the group 5 and 1 of 4. Yes. 5 and 5. So that I will make U4, and then let's say U3 and U2 are 5, and we're going to figure out 5.
Four of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left. Okay.
So you know that you know what the big challenges are, and have a look at the task group. Of course, normally when constitutions are made, this takes years. We don't have to So you can make a very quick constitution. You don't have to be very fast. You should know again what state form of government it should be. And I've heard everything. You're completely agree, right? I've done this exercise many times. And I've heard everything from Communist Republic to like you did it now. To a Third Republic, to the Sunda Empire. So you're pretty fast. This is whatever you decide, you will have to justify later why you made that choice, why you took this step. Right? So state form of government, what are the main institutions? What are their competencies? How do they relate to each other? So which institution does what, who elects, who appoints, who controls, what are good rules? Thinking of regulation now, so we have definition, what institutions are there, attributions, what are their powers, regulation will be, what are good rules to maintain the peace in the light of the situation. And then, if you still have time, you can make any other rules in mind.
Yeah.
So we get 3 distinct constitutions in there. If you have questions in 3, let's ask, but mainly also ask the questions. Yes, and I talked about it.
Apa yang menjadi lembaga utama.
You get to work, we talk.
So my question, do you have an idea of the amount of students for pertanyaan saya, apakah untuk metode ini ada ya kan, mengingat kelas kita besar, ya kan? And then the next have an idea, do you have like
Hello? Yeah. Amount of I think the idea is something, yeah. I think 12 to 15, but then for this specific exercise, we break them up into even smaller groups because it facilitates continuous discussion. But I'm aware that you have very large classes. So you won't be able to do an exercise like this in class. However, what you can, for example, do is have a task like this, instruct them to form group and prepare something like this as a homework. So as I said this morning in the PBL introduction session, it's not all or nothing. You can, if you have logistical challenges or large classes, little time, etc., you can start with elements of this. So you don't have to, it's not binary. It's not either you don't do it at all or you do it full scale. Yes, but this is I chose this exercise because this is the one we do before they have read anything. It's the first day of the undergrad studies. Why? Because the goal of this is not to come up with a lot of knowledge. The goal of this is to identify what knowledge they don't have. And then I give them the reading material to understand for next time. And you asked about the shape. I think the U shape or the O shape is a good subset.
Masuk di undang-undang pengelolaan sumber daya alam, itulah tadi. Itu secara
No. Generally, the discussion in a PBL setting should be a safe space, so I would be cautious to mark oral participation. They have an exam at the end, just regular. What you should do as a tutor is make sure that everybody participates in some way. Marking can have a role in this. For example, you can give a bonus point to particularly good ones. But I wouldn't do a participation rate. It's not very useful normally. No, you have you just work. You can talk to each other.
Jadi katanya untuk mengatasi
They should continue.
beda dengan yang biasa. Jadi ini mereka nggak akan dikasih nilai satu karena dia ikut ngomong atau karena partisipasinya. Nilai itu beda. Jadi isi hasil kemudian kita ujian kan orang ini satu. So you must think actually you have examination.
Yes.
Jadi ada tetap pilihan ini cuma so this is to cultivate their ideas and cultivate how to
This is the teaching format. There's a normal written examination at the end. Yes. Please do continue. Talk to each other as much as you like. It's a good question. So the lecturer needs, or the course coordinator, let's say, needs to prepare the tasks. So somebody, that can be a group of people, needs to prepare the task and the syllabus. And that involves a lot of thinking, what is the type of knowledge that we want them to have? What do we want them to understand, and how do we translate this into cases? That's difficult and it's quite a bit of work. But once you have it, it can be reused. So you don't do this, you don't start on zero unless only the first time, right? You build on what you already have.
Ketika kami di Masri kemarin ada buku tiap anak pegang. Jadi saya tanya buku apa aja, isinya apa? Entah conteannya ya kan? Apa?
In this particular course, normally students have a book of constitutions with them, so the undang-undang, the rules themselves, and a textbook which they don't normally need to bring. They do bring it, but they don't have to. For this particular exercise, they wouldn't need any literature because it's an initial. Yeah, the syllabus, but it's not concrete questions because they should develop the questions out of the cases that they get in the PBL.
Itu dalam parlementer atau presidensial. Presidensial kita. Yeah, they start like this.
How long actually have we been in PBL? Yeah. Immediately. We started like this in the 70s when the university was founded. Because this was when PBL was invented, so they wanted to make something new, but they started the university like this. Because the university is only 47 years old. Yeah. But I think for a transition, because we have seen this at MED, where they are in the process. And now after 4.5, 5 years, they have about they have elements of PBL in every course, and some courses are already fully PBL.
Ini kan berarti kita anggap aja jadi dari kelompok masyarakat tadi.
Pertanyaan saya tadi Sasha adalah melihat banyak diskusi, rasanya aku nggak sabar, kok nggak masuk ke 5 poinnya. Padahal kan pertanyaannya udah disesuaikan itu.
Have you decided on a state form?
Kalau kita ini Bapak Ibu,
What's it gonna be?
belum satu pun itu pertanyaan itu.
Okay.
Tadi saya tanya sama Gus,
Okay.
ini gimana kan mereka masih junior terus. So what is your answer, Sasa? About how to try to make your patient like you?
Now, this is a very good group. It works well. So far, there's nothing I need to have patience with. But yes, it does stretch your patience occasionally. And sometimes we lose our patience, of course. But it is, it's a learning process, huh? for the teaching staff as well, right? And it's not that we do not intervene, but we intervene hopefully a little more subtly. In this exercise, no, not forever and ever. Within a defined time, I gave them half an hour. That's not forever, that's half an hour. And then they present, and then we discuss what they present, and then they learn what they missed. I notice for you it's difficult because you would like to intervene, you would like to instruct them, you would like to push them more. Wait for it. You know what? How to get the knowledge. They will only learn how to rely on you. If you let them do this, maybe they don't get all the information you want them to have, but what's very important, they are learning how to think. And if you just tell them, they won't learn how to think. They will just learn what you say. Yeah. Yeah, you can. This is an introductory session. We chose it because students had no time to prepare. In a later class, it will look a little bit different because they will read first. And there's always pre-discussion in one session, post-discussion in the next session. In between, there is reading. I chose this task, which is a lot of brainstorming, because they didn't have anything to prepare, nothing to go by. You can explain maybe to the colleagues that, yes, we have targets too. I can show you later, I can show the colleagues my course book, which has a very defined number of keywords which need to be like targets that students need to learn every session. Yeah.
Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, untuk kelas ini, sesi ini tadi itu yang pertanyaannya Bu Afnila, saya coba tanyakan kaitannya dengan Ya, jadi gini, Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, kelas ini, kelas yang ditampilkan oleh Sasha adalah kelas introduction. Jadi kelas pertama dari 14 kali pertemuan. Tadi saya tanyakan, teman rekan pengajar bertanya bahwasanya di setiap kelas kita punya pencapaian kelas. Ada sub CPMK yang harus kita capai dalam setiap pertemuan. Pak Sasa mengatakan bahwasanya pertemuan ini adalah pertemuan pertama dari 14 kali kelasnya kita. Beliau nanti akan sampaikan, akan perlihatkan buku atau RPS-nya beliau untuk 14 kali pertemuan, dan dia akan memperlihatkan kepada kita ada kata-kata kunci yang dapat kita ukur. Sehingga apakah sub CPMK kita tercapai atau tidak dalam setiap kelasnya dengan menggunakan metode PBL. Ada pertanyaan? Jadi tidak usah khawatir, sub CPMK pasti tercapai.
Okay. Just for the lecturers, so students, you carry on. I want to show you, because the worry seems to be that in this fashion you don't reach your weekly targets or so. This is not the case. We have our weekly targets as well. So every session is about something. It's not just free discussion. This is an introductory class, so there it's a free brainstorm because they didn't have anything to prepare. Normally they do have something to prepare. So I want to show you. In my comparative government class, so this is the syllabus of my comparative government class. What list? Yeah. So in the old course, like it was organized last year, for example, we had the basic constitutional structures of 5 countries, plus the European human rights system, plus the European Union and its member states. So there are the tasks, and every one of them, every week, I show you, wait, these are all the course rules. So the syllabus has a lot of course rules, code of conduct, and so on, and so on, and so on. And here's the schedule. So you would do in 1 week the United States with a lecture, with video clips, with a PBL session. So we have additional materials as well. So you have PBL and other means of instructions on top of it. And when you go to a specific week, for example, this. Yeah, every week has either, depending on whether it's a small course or a big course, every week has 1 or 2 tutorials. Yeah. So for example, for the United States, our target would be to understand the legislative process, including its rules, competence distribution, who has initiative, who can change the rules, make the rules, etc. How bicameralism works, and the role of the president. We have a case study here, and on the basis of the case study, students are supposed to learn all of this, and they do. Of course, with the support of literature that they have to prepare. So it's a lot of reading that they have to go through before the reporting phase the next time. Yes. Yeah. At least one. So normally every course has a main textbook, and then we give, for example, journal articles or whatever additional literature is necessary. Okay. Have you also settled on the State Farm? What is it? Okay. All very similar, let's see. No Sunda Empire this time? So ladies and gentlemen, be a little bit aware of the time. You have about a quarter hour left, so 15 minutes. So if you have already dealt with the state form, government form, and the main institutions, make sure to go down the list and do the rest. Oh, it's very different. So I think they're the furthest, but they also had the most investment in it. And they had a lot of teaching staff who actually come to us to follow the training multiple times. So they are the furthest. But also, I think a very good candidate is Joyo in Madura. They have a lot of PBL classes already, even though they're relatively peripheral university. I saw that in Tarakan and in Kendari, they also use it, but not so extensively because they also have this problem. Large classes, and not many tutors who are already schooled in it. So it's different. It's getting better.
Untuk masalah di atas, undang-undang lain. Lalu gimana? Negara bawah apa aja itu? Indonesia aja pada konfondasi. Asas konfondasi.
Well, the assessment will be an exam, a relatively regular exam. This is the method of. But then there are more problems.
Iya, saya nanti masih berlaku undang-undang.
There is an incentive.
Di apa namanya?
But consider this. Instead, when I give them a talk, they can only listen to my talk. And maybe if they're good, they memorize what I say. But then on the exam, I ask them a question for application, for reproduction. The reproduction is unnecessary. We have it on the internet, we have it on the book. We don't need to remember this. We need to know how to solve problems. That you cannot learn by listening to something. You learn by doing. They're trying to apply themselves. And the solutions will be very insufficient because they only have little time. They are not prepared for it. So when we see, I will quiz them. What did you think of this? Did you think of that? how does the solution solve this problem?
Ini kan
They won't have an answer.
problematikanya lagi
That's the problem.
gitu kan.
This next time, think about it.
Udah
Read
ada.
more about it.
Iya,
It's a lot of work.
kan belum ada
But it pays off. The students are, generally, I think they will become more motivated. They active. And usually also the skills of the graduates will be very good for the. We also have but generally want to pass exams. Yeah, yes. This would be first day, first class, undergrad studies.
itu kan ada tiga itu, tiga yang dipain Pancasila, satu lagi Parma. Kita pakai yang lain, yang itu kita dia lagi. Iya, kan nanti kalau biar orang itu pakai
Have something else like, of course, all the literature that they need to read and video clips sometimes, online quizzes. Yeah.
dapat kemaksaan ketuhanan berkaitan dengan tasnya itu juga yang kayak ini Soekarno.
So here our domain for this assignment. And we call it the CPM lab. And here.
Humanity betul.
Ketiga and why the net job is here.
Yeah.
So Tuhanan juga is here. And oh yeah.
ATM nggak perlu lah. ATM harus data.
But also, this new system which we have since this year, they do only one course at the same time. Yeah, we used to do that too, but now we decided let's do one course, but more intensively.
Administration.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how far are we? Are you finished? Okay, one constitution is finished, almost finished, wonderful. So what we're going to do in a couple of minutes then, or if you're already finished, you can start. We only have two flip charts here, so one team will have to wait a little bit. But one team can already start and making a poster about their constitution, and when it's done, and all the three groups have made their presentation or made their poster, we will discuss which ones addresses the problems in the best way and what you may have missed or what you may want to think about again. And maybe what knowledge gaps we have to fill for next time, which of course is not going to happen because we're only simulating, so you're lucky. So maybe each team would like to send one or two persons to provide the presentation. Somebody with a nice handwriting. Okay. Better send two people because you all have your individual notes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Would you also like to start making your presentation? You can also come. So it can be one or it can also be two if you need some help. Yeah. 2 hours. Yes. No, a total course. So that's 14 times 2 hours, plus 5 times 2 hours of lecture, plus all the reading time has 11 credits. One credit in the ECTS system is 40 hours of work. 40 hours. Huh? Yeah. Sorry, no, that's not true. That's not true. 40 hours per week across 7 weeks. That's 11 credits. So it's about 20-ish hours for one credit. Okay. You're next. You can still finalize your. So in your presentations, Mr. Silmi and Mr. Rafi, in your presentations, please make sure to show how your constitution answers these 5 issues, right?
Mari gabungan negara lain. Mari gabungan negara lain. Atau ada yang tiba-tiba dia kan mulai ya. Jadi 5 kali aja.
That's a little bit quicker. Okay, so one team is going to write on the laptop, so we can. Yeah. Yeah.
Akan kok MK masih dikenal court berarti. By the four.
Yeah. What I will do is I'll ask Lydia course manuals.
Ini kedera. Ya loh, karena mau ngomong.
See that the first two of the posters are almost done, I think, right? So for the audience, what's going to happen, and the purpose of this is, we're going to have the brief presentations by the teams of the products that they have made, but we're not just going to listen to what they have made, we're also going to quiz them. Because the purpose of the whole exercise is to identify things that need to be addressed in the potential self-study phase. So we're simulating a class which would be followed by a self-study phase. Okay? Finished? Okay. So you haven't started writing, or have you? Okay. Now, with your permission, while you still write here, we can already have a presentation of the first team that is finished. So Would you like to speak or somebody else from the, I think somebody else from the team? Because strangely enough, it's always the men writing, isn't it? So let's have the women talking. Sure. Okay, let's hear it. And the others, so everybody who is not writing, pay attention because we're going to critically quiz you on it. Let's see.
Baik, kami akan mempresentasikan sedikit dari isi konstitusi kami dari kelompok kami. Yang pertama itu bentuk negaranya akan berdasar pada republik parlementer yang tentunya berbasis pada demokrasi, di mana karena di sini ada bentuk republik dan parlementer, kemudian ada semi presidensial di sini. Jadi kepala negara akan dipimpin oleh presiden. Kemudian karena ada parlementer, dia menjadi head of government-nya akan menjadi prime minister. Jadi perdana menteri jadi head of government-nya. Jadi main institution itu tadi dalam konstitusi tentunya kita berdasar juga ke teorinya Montesquieu, tetapnya pada eksekutif, legislatif dan judiciary, yudikatif. Kami sepakati di sini bentuk eksekutif itu dipimpin oleh presiden dan juga perdana menteri. Namun di legislatif pun diisi oleh prime minister, pada menteri, kemudian ada parlemen di sini. Kemudian judiciary kami sepakati hanya di Mahkamah Agung. Jadi kenapa kenapa main institusinya ada begini? Kami basiskan juga ke peran yang ketiga tentang international institutional relations. Jadi kami basiskan ke separation of power. Jadi legislatif itu kami mencontohkan sebenarnya negara contoh yang membasiskan seperti ini sebenarnya Malaysia. Dia perdana menteri menjadi bagian dari legislatif, namun dia juga menjadi bagian dari eksekutif. Dia menjadi kepala pemerintahan di eksekutif, namun dia juga menjadi pembagian yang membuat undang-undang di legislatif di situ. Judisarinya kami putuskan untuk hanya ada Mahkamah Agung, sebenarnya karena negaranya tidak terlalu besar. Jadi judicial review-nya, kemudian hal-hal yang berbasis dengan konstitusi pun juga akan dilaksanakan oleh Supreme Court. Berbeda dengan Indonesia yang mungkin ada Mahkamah Konstitusi dan kemudian ada Mahkamah Agung. Jadi kami sepakatinya di situ hanya ada Supreme Court bagi Mahkamah Agung. Kemudian presiden di-elected langsung oleh rakyat, kemudian PM dipilih dari parlemen. Appropriate rules to maintain peace. Kami menawarkan ideologi yang sebenarnya tidak terlalu jauh dengan apa yang ditawarkan di Indonesia. Fokusnya kepada persatuan, kesetaraan, humanity, kemanusiaan, social justice, keadilan sosial, kemudian ada basis pada demokrasi, atas jaminan demokrasi. Other rules that fits, pastinya setiap negara memerlukan peraturan perundang-undangan. Di antaranya tentunya tadi konstitusi yang kita menjadi dasar ini akan mengarah kepada bagaimana sebenarnya KUHP di criminal code-nya, kemudian KUH perdatanya di civil code-nya, kemudian natural resources related legislation sebagai solusi dari mana tadi kasus permasalahan perebutan natural resources atau sumber daya alam yang ada di negara New Land ini. Kemudian yang terakhir adalah bagaimana akhirnya kita menjamin hak-hak masyarakat. Perbedaannya yang kami fokuskan kenapa sebenarnya hak-hak masyarakat ini tidak terlalu menjadi masalah. Karena kami memproyeksi, karena ini negara yang terbentuk di tahun 2100-an, kemudian perpindahan migrasi antara masyarakat adat itu bukan berarti masyarakat adat yang terbelakang dan sebagainya. Karena itu pastinya migrasi dari negara-negara yang mungkin sudah maju pada zaman itu nanti. Mungkin sekian atas presentasi kami. Mungkin ada yang ingin menanggapi dari kelompok lain.
Thank you very, very much. I didn't understand everything, so maybe I will ask some questions on the basis of the poster. But first, I would like to ask you, especially the other groups, is this a good solution? Obviously. Now, but let's hear the other groups. What do you think? Did they miss something, or are they spot on? Or is anything unclear? Was it all clear what was presented? At least if you have the right language skills.
Is there anything?
So let me ask you something. Why did you choose a semi-presidential system? Because you have a head of state who is elected by the people, correct? And you have a head of government who is elected by the House of Representatives, correct? Okay. Why is this a good solution for the multi-ethnic, multi-religious, diverse community system? I would be interested.
Thank you, Dr. for the question. Actually, because it is a new country, we need stability on how the country could be organized. So the representative from the people, actually, they elected president as the one that they trust, because there is only a symbol of the state. For the government, we must say that we must have actually that has a competence on how they could manage the government. So on how to do that, actually it is the same, but the difference is the House of Representatives is actually from the part of the society in the country that actually is only 50,000. So it's not so many people in there. So we think that the separation of how the head of state and also head of the government need to be separate because of that.
Okay. And how do you deal, maybe I ask the question to the rest of the group, how do you deal with the problem of cohabitation, the French call it cohabitation? What if the president is of one political denomination, but the prime minister, they both share in the executive power, as you say, is of the other political denomination? Wouldn't that lead to a deadlock? And wouldn't you say that in this situation, that it's very likely to happen because you have such a diversity of interests in the place? So what's your answer to this?
Well, in our statement is just to say like we choose the executive one is in the president is by public elections. So it basically will be like maybe someone or maybe several people will be like 3 or maybe 4 will be like to be the representative as a president, and also we will doing the formality where the president will be presenting their vision, mission, or their something like that. And we believe by diversity, they obviously have a different opinion about the people that they trust. So by doing a public election, it will be justice for all of them.
Actually, I can add some more, because there, you said that there is a political domination, and also it could be abuse of power because of so the solution is with the constitution. We will say about the term period for the president and also the term period for the prime minister, like that.
And then very interesting, you attach quite some power to the Supreme Court because you say they can do judicial review of legislation. But you didn't tell me, or maybe I didn't understand it, how do you become a judge on the Supreme Court? Who appoints those?
Okay, I think your question. Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much. You found it.
Here.
I will try to speed it up. Tomorrow morning is the Istana, right? On the rundown, it says tomorrow morning is visit to Tana. But we can do that. You can do something else. Yes. Right. Tomorrow. 10 to 12 discussion. Okay. Sorry. Yes, okay, all right. You wanted to tell me how the Supreme Court is appointed?
Okay, all right. From the discussion that we had, the way how to choose the judge from Supreme Court, that we believe to make sure there is check and balance. We want each of supplement they have their representative, so there is no. There's a good check and balance. Each of settlement has their representative, and then from president and the prime minister, they also can suggest their own opinion and their own person. I think
that's a very Indonesian answer to this question. And it comes with its very own, very Indonesian problems. Because Indonesia just recently had the recall issue where one of the judges was recalled for this issue, which was quite plainly illegal to recall because the Constitution does not provide for this, but they still did it. So I would like to caution you to think about this again and maybe come up with last question, because we need to speed it up a little bit. I don't see much in terms of fundamental rights in this. Is there a human rights catalog or something like this? I see an ideology: unity, equality, humanity, social justice, but I don't see concrete fundamental rights. Is that on purpose?
Okay, to be honest, that we already think that there is still not concrete one, but I think the ideology itself, the charter itself, that we need to discuss it more, because that in this case that we do not know that the citizen itself what they want. I mean, like obviously that must be a different situation that we must solve, because there is like already mentioned, there are about the diversity of languages and backgrounds and cultures. So in this case that we should know first that what kind of diversity that we want to unite.
Okay, more information needed. All right. Thank you very much to this first group. Thank you very much. I think you deserve a little applause from the rest. And then I would like to give the floor to the second group who made their presentation. Maybe you also want to share it out. Can I give the...
Right, thank you so much for the opportunity. So here we are. if I have to repeat about the main problems that we just mentioned, that we have 4 problems here about the state form and the form of government, then the main institutions, interinstitutional relations, and appropriate rules to maintain peace, and last but not least, there will be other rules that we will see a bit. So for the first one, we would like to say that state form is federal, and then we'll have to say that the form of government, it will be parliamentary, that headed by Prime Minister, which the Prime Minister appointed by the people of the new land. And for the reason that why we actually choose federal as the state form, because actually we would like to sketch, or we would like to inspire from Malaysia, where Malaysia is actually its federal constitution, and the form of government, actually the Malaysia is parliamentary monarchy, but as the result of the history from the case that just mentioned, that there is no history that mentioned there are several kingdoms that actually exists in the new land. So we would like to say that parliamentary, it will be suitable for the condition of politics and social. And for the second one, our problems is the main institutions, where we do not believe in one power of some institutions, but we believe, by Montesquieu said, that we adopt res politica. So res politica aims to distribute the power of each institution to regulate the society and the problems of that state. So we have executive, legislative, and judicative. So if we would like to say, we do not mention that executive consists of the president or maybe the prime minister, but we would like to say that executive consists of minister itself. And for the legislative way, it consists of only for popular representative council, because let's be honest, let's be realistic, the new land is new. New land is standing for new and land. So if we would like to mention that there are 3 institutions in it, it will be impossible, because it is the new state, and we will have to say one institution, it will be suitable, that is People Representative Council. Last but not least, it will be judicative, where the judicative, I think it's too imaginary. I did put there Prime Court and then High Court and District Court. So I guess it will be suitable for new land. So if our lecturers and students questioning why we just executive, who will head executive, so it will be the Prime Minister itself, and the rules of executive will ratify and conduct the law, and the legislative institution will make the law itself, and last but not least, the judicative way who holds the justice of law. So if we would like to say, because new land is new, the head of each institution appointed by Prime Minister, where the members of each institution appointed by the general election of the people of new land itself. So, interinstitutional relations, we would like to say that the power, it doesn't centralize in one institution. Instead, it centralizes on those 3 institutions itself. So, next one, appropriate rules to maintain peace. Let's be honest that appropriate rules to maintain peace, it will be conducted by national way and international way. So, for the national way, if we have a look over here, we did right here the national way. I think that the main problems of a new state, it will be the conflict of religions, and then like other diversity things, I mean. So we will have to say we show from the national security institution. So it will be national way. And last, it will be international way, where it consists of 2 ways. For the first one is dialogue and diplomacy, because the land will be acknowledged as a new state if we have voice de facto, from de facto and de jure itself. So for the next one is humanity assistance assistance by UN, United Nations, or international organizations. We do acknowledge that new states are really poor, but in knowledge or maybe like how to create or establish the government itself. So actually, we need the humanity assistance by UN itself and dialogue and diplomacy from the other nations. And for the last other rules that we will see fit is about this. We do acknowledge that we need law to regulate the condition of society and the government itself. So we need a general elections law, and then we need Undang-Undang Tata Kelola Sumber Daya Alam, and National Security Act, and then we have like Act. Last but not least, it will be Environment Act itself. So I guess that will be sufficient for us to regulate the problems that just mentioned in previous, such as diversity problems, and then like international problems, and then the other diversity problems that actually just mentioned in previous. I guess those are all the explanations that I would like to tell. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I would like to again ask for a brief reaction. I know we are running out of time, but just quickly. What do you think? Yes.
Thank you for the explanation. So when asked about judicative, the first is prime court, really? Oh, what?
Prime Court.
Prime court and high court, and then okay, district court. So I want to ask, by elected who, and then yeah, from the judicative.
Come again.
Okay, so who elected the court?
The court.
Yeah, and then need a
Of the court, you meant the judge. You meant
Yeah,
the
the
judge.
judge, yes. From the court.
Okay.
Yeah.
The judge of the court. Okay, the judge of the court. Actually, I would like to say that the judicative was the head of judicative was appointed by Prime Minister, and the head of the court it will. So if we say like judge of the court, it will be the members of the court itself. So the member of the court itself. As we mentioned in previous, that the members of institution, the members of each institution appointed by general elections by the people. So the answer is if the judge is appointed by the general election of the people.
Thank you very much. Well, there wouldn't be much to say about it, but we want to give the word to the last group still, but with the kind request to have a quick presentation because I'm already being pressured by the master of ceremony. And then I would like to make a brief closing statement to the audience afterwards. So.
Right, thank you, Doctor. Maybe I will, presentation will be short because some of my point is same as Zilmi Group. So our platform is federal state, and the form of government is parliamentary democracy. The main institution there is three, like Trias Politica also is executive. There is a president and prime minister. In legislative, we have a parliament of Newland, and the judiciary will be a federal court. And then we move into interinstitutional relations. The president is elected by the people of Newlands, and prime minister elected by the majority of parliament Newlands, and the federal court judge elected by the prime minister with an agreement of the president. So maybe a little bit different with the Zilmi's group. In their group, the federal court judge or federal prime judge is elected by the prime minister only. But we in our federal system, the federal court judge is elected by the prime minister, but with an agreement of the president as the head of the state. And appropriate rules to maintain peace in this situation sketch as in the paper. Maybe in the first situation is about diversity. About diversity, we will make rules about giving an autonomy to every state to have their own regulation, as long as not against the Constitution of the Federal Constitution of Knowledge, and recognition to the customary law and religion in every state. For the external threat, we will make building a defensive force and joining the United Nations. For natural threat, we will make the vital building with a material that can hold tsunami disaster. In a century, we think there will be a technology that supports this agenda. And for the resources, the producing of resources is handled by the central government and prioritize the cooperation in producing with other nations that having a good human resources. And other words, we see it's fit for this new lands is Criminal Act, Civil Act, Human Rights Act, and the Citizenship Act. Maybe the Citizenship Act is very important because this new land is wasteland before. So maybe we need a law that provide how can people to be a new land people. That's from my group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we are running out of time really, but let me stress what we found here. So we found 3 solutions that all centered around a democratic idea, but with very important differences. So from the semi-presidential power sharing system to a power sharing system that we have in a classic parliamentary system to a power sharing system which is almost communist in its treating of natural resources, for example. You see that there are different options. And let me just say for the audience, what has happened here, or what do we see here? This would have been an introductory exercise to a class on constitutional law. So the purpose of this was not to, accumulate a lot of concrete knowledge about all kinds of rules, but to open basically Pandora's box of concepts in constitutional law that would now, after this introductory class, be further specified in future classes. So this would be the first class of a whole course. But what we have achieved is we got all those ladies and gentlemen down here to already think about the concepts, not in a very abstract way, but in a hands-on way, right? So where you can, if there's a difference whether you read about, Supreme Court appointments, or whether you actively think, okay, this is problematic. If I let the president appoint the Supreme Court, maybe that gives a little bit of too much power to them, etc., etc. So this active engagement, we have already started. There's not much knowledge as such gained in this, but what it has done is it has opened up this box of concepts which would be further specified in the future. So this is how we demonstrate the PBL system as in a very first class. And mind you, this is the real very first class of our constitutional law course, which happens to be also the first course of the curriculum. So the people who do this have never studied anything at university before, and this would open the constitutional law course. I would like to invite everybody in the audience to give a very warm applause to these fantastic people here. And thank you very much for making this little experiment with me today. It was great fun. Thank you very much. And I hope, now I don't have it with me, but I hope I can provide you within the next day with an example of a full PBL syllabus that has been made by the colleagues at UNER after our introduction of PBL there. Thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sasha. Terima kasih atas partisipasinya para mahasiswa. Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu. The honorable participants, thank you very much for the active participation today. And for the closing, I would like to invite the Dean of Faculty of Law, Universitas Sumatera Utara, Dr. Mahmud Siregar. The floor goes to you. We welcome you to give the closing statement. Thank you.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semuanya. Terima kasih, thank you very much atas partisipasi Bapak Ibu, para dosen, para lecturer, para guru besar yang sudah hadir dari mulai pagi hari tadi sampai sore hari ini, yang mana tadi kita melanjutkan simulasi dari apa yang sudah kita pahami atau kita dapatkan informasi pada kegiatan pagi hari tadi mengenai problem based learning. Terima kasih banyak, thank you so much Sasa. Saya sudah memberikan pengetahuannya kepada kami semuanya. Bapak Ibu sekalian, perlu kita pahami bersama bahwa jika kita melihat kepada hasil evaluasi kemarin oleh rektor dari WD1 berapa persen kewajiban kita untuk menerapkan kelas kolaboratif dan partisipatif? 90 ya. Dari 90% yang dimandatkan oleh kementerian kepada universitas dan diturunkan kepada oleh rektor ke para dekan dan dari para dekan ke prodi dan kepada para dosen, kita tidak mencapai target 90%, bahkan kita jauh di bawah itu ya. Kalau saya tidak salah, kita baru mencapai sekitar 50 ke 60% dari ratusan mata kuliah kita yang menggunakan kelas kolaboratif dan kelas partisipatif. Nah, jadi problem based learning salah satu yang akan mungkin bisa nanti kita gunakan sebagai learning method. Sebenarnya ini learning method ya, untuk bisa menambah wawasan mahasiswa, kemudian membuat mahasiswa lebih paham tentang bagaimana belajar mandiri. Nah, metode inilah yang kita sebut dengan student based education. Jadi pola pengajaran yang berbasis kepada mahasiswa. Jadi bukan berbasis kepada dosen seperti metode-metode yang lalu-lalu. Metode ini sebenarnya mencoba mengembangkan sebuah metode pembelajaran di mana center pembelajaran itu adalah para mahasiswa. Dan kita para dosen memainkan peran sebagai fasilitator dan sebagai yang akan menstimulus dan memberikan kebebasan kepada mahasiswa untuk mengembangkan pemikiran-pemikirannya dan mencari dari berbagai sumber. Mungkin nanti kita akan coba mendalami ini lagi, atau mungkin akan membentuk tim-tim kecil untuk kita pelajari bagaimana cara kita menerapkannya di Fakultas Hukum kita. Kami sudah melihat bagaimana ini diterapkan di Faculty of Law Maastricht University. Tentu kita punya berbagai tantangan, saya nggak menyebutkan itu kendala ya, berbagai tantangan yang mungkin akan secara bertahap kita petakan dan pelan-pelan kita atasi. Karena nggak bisa juga simsalabim besok kita menggunakan PBL. Kita harus menyiapkan berbagai hal, terutama kalau yang saya lihat kemarin di Fakultas Hukum Maastricht, mereka memiliki teaching material yang lengkap. Semua guru itu punya teaching material, materi ajar yang sama dan disusun oleh semua dosen. Jadi di dalamnya memang sudah ada metode-metode ini diterapkan, kemudian bagaimana prosesnya berlangsung, dan termasuk isu-isu yang bisa dipilih untuk menghidupkan kelas dalam project based learning. Dengan berbagai learning method yang lebih partisipatif dan lebih kolaboratif. Nah, sebenarnya salah satu makna Merdeka Belajar itu adalah pada sisi learning methodnya, bukan hanya pada sisi ada 8 program Merdeka Belajar itu, tetapi juga dalam learning method. Memang berdasarkan hasil evaluasi rektor dan para dekan kemarin, kita punya persoalan dalam mengembangkan pendidikan dan di Universitas Sumatera Utara. Yang pertama itu adalah menyangkut learning process. Kita punya persoalan dengan learning process, proses pembelajaran kita. Tahun depan di fakultas memprioritaskan untuk membongkar semua proses bisnis sehingga learning proses kita bisa lebih baik, lebih lancar, tidak birokratis, tidak bertili-tili kata orang Medan. Ya, coba kita cari di mana nanti learning proses yang bisa kita perbaiki. Termasuk kita sudah memperbaiki learning proses untuk menguji mutu skripsi. Sudah ada kita seminar proposal, seminar hasil sampai dengan ujian skripsi. Tetapi memang di sana sini setelah kita monitoring ada bisnis proses yang harus kita perbaiki. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, masalah kita di Fakultas Hukum adalah learning method. Kalau kita mau jujur, kebanyakan learning method yang masih kita gunakan adalah learning method yang konvensional. Ya, masih metode ceramah. Bukan salah. Ya, bukan salah karena itu memang salah satu learning method, tetapi kurang kolaboratifnya, kurang partisipatifnya. Jadi ada banyak cara yang mungkin saat ini kita sedang belajar mengenai problem based learning. Kalau ini bisa kita pahami, nanti bisa kita terapkan dengan cara kita di Fakultas Hukum ini, mudah-mudahan suatu saat kita bisa naik sedikit kepada case method. Lebih tinggi lagi, ya. Nah, suatu saat kalau ini semua bisa kita jalankan, mungkin kita bisa enak melaksanakan project based learning, supaya kita tidak ragu lagi dengan kemampuan mahasiswa kita. Yang ketiga, masalah kita kurikulum. Ya, itu yang sedang disusun. Yang keempat, ini masalah yang sedikit agak besar yang membutuhkan perhatian universitas. Sudah saya sampaikan berulang kali dalam rapat dengan rektor, adalah masalah infrastruktur. Kalau di Leiden di Maastricht kemarin, mereka punya banyak sekali kelas tutorial. Kelas yang isinya 20 mahasiswa, 30 dan 40. Jadi kelas mereka itu banyak kelas-kelas tutorial. Tapi sebenarnya metode ini sudah banyak dipergunakan awalnya di Fakultas Kedokteran. Dengan mereka menggunakan sistem blok dan sistem tutorial. Ya. Nah, makanya quality assurance mereka memang jauh lebih bagus dari kita. Nah, pelan-pelan lah kita mencoba mempelajari. Kita akan coba ini lebih dalam lagi. Mudah-mudahan ini bisa menjadi satu metode pembelajaran yang permanen untuk sejumlah, tentu tidak wajib semua mata kuliah, tergantung kepada capaian pembelajaran dan capaian pembelajaran mata kuliahnya, CPMK-nya. Nah, semua juga bisa menggunakan PBL. Nanti akan kita coba rembukan bersama-sama. Ya, mudah-mudahan ini bisa berhasil, mudah-mudahan ini bisa membuat itu namanya fakultas kita pelan-pelan kita bergerak ke arah berbagai pola pembelajaran yang lebih kreatif dan lebih berbasis kepada student. Sekali lagi kami mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada Bapak Ibu sekalian, kolega para dosen. Terima kasih sekali lagi kepada Dr. Sasa yang sudah bersedia membantu kami. Ya, mungkin besok masih ada acara ya, tetapi seminar ya. Guest lecture yang nanti dikelola oleh Prodi S2, S3. Sasa juga yang akan berbicara karena bidang keilmuannya adalah constitutional law. Jadi besok beliau akan mengajar tentang constitutional law dalam comparative perspective. Baik, terima kasih sekali lagi. Dari Tauhid Hidayah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore, salam sejahtera bagi kita semuanya.
Ya, baik. Terima kasih kepada Dekan Fakultas Hukum Universitas Sumatera Utara. Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, acara akan ditutup dengan penyerahan sertifikat kepada narasumber dan moderator. Untuk itu kami mohon kesediaan kepada Dr. Sasa dan Dr. Rosmalinda untuk mengambil tempat di depan. Penyerahan cenderamata kepada narasumber diberikan oleh Ketua Program Studi Doktor Ilmu Hukum. Kami mohon kesediaan Ibu Profesor Ningrum Natasha Sirait untuk memberikan sertifikat kepada narasumber kita, Dr. Sasa Harhab. Oke. Iya, baik. Terima kasih. Penyerahan cenderamata kepada moderator diberikan oleh Wakil Dekan 1, Ibu Dr. Agus Midah, SHM Home. Ya, baik. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu hadirin semua. Dengan demikian usailah sudah rangkaian acara pelatihan kita dari pagi hari tadi sampai sore hari ini. Terima kasih atas partisipasi aktif Bapak Ibu dan adik-adik mahasiswa. Semoga pelatihan ini dapat menambah pemahaman kita tentang metode pembelajaran berbasis masalah. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.